Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today, we are talking about Gladiator II. This film is directed by Ridley Scott, the long awaited sequel, about 24 years in the making. It stars Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Joseph Quinn, countless others, and
Pedro
Nicholas.
Pascal. Come on.
Oh, we can't forget about Pedro Pascal.
Gonna do him dirty like that?
Listen, I would never do him dirty, and he knows that. He knows that. Uh, Nicholas, I'm going to throw this one over to you first.
Oh boy.
Give me your thoughts on the film, buddy.
I had a great time with it. I mean, as far as legacy sequels go, I think this is one of the better ones, personally. I think that it upped the scale on in a lot of regards. There was a lot more story going on, a lot more action happening. Ultimately, I don't think it reached the same like heights and heart of the original for me, but there was still enough to make it just a wonderful movie theater going experience. We were fortunate enough to see it at an early screening in IMAX, which is always a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I got a little worried toward the end. Just with the initial setup, there was a lot of story going on and a lot of different storylines. And I was interested in how they would all come together. And I thought they did a good job of sticking the landing with that and not getting too overly convoluted for the sake of having a bunch going on.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And kind of piggybacking off of what you said, I always say that comparison is the thief of joy. So, if you try to compare this movie to the first one constantly, like, yeah, the first movie is better in many regards. The only thing I'll give this movie that might have the slight edge to the first movie is the action choreography. I thought the action choreography in this movie was exceptional. Not that it's bad in the original Gladiator, it was just really stepped up here. Great sound work as well. But I also like this movie. I think it's quite good. I think that the story it was telling, while not as focused as the original movie ones was, it did still have great emotional payoff. You were invested in the characters, you were invested in the stories, you were really invested in the side stories in this film. And I think the most intriguing aspect, I'm not going to spoil anything, I think one of the most intriguing aspects of the movie is the almost parasocial type relationship that Paul Mescal's character has with Pedro Pascal's, where he has this core belief that Pedro Pascal is one type of person. And as we watch the movie, we're slowly realizing Pedro Pascal is not that person. And so when they inevitably meet in the film, the stakes are high because you're just hoping that this misunderstanding can come to some sort of conclusion that will be beneficial to everyone. And that tension, I think, was a good driving factor, at least for the first half of the movie. I think that tension is something the film did quite well. And of course, when you do a gladiator movie or a gladiator type movie, there's a very important factor that you have to hit, and that is the dudes rock factor. And Nicholas, I have to say, dudes rock. This film had the dudes rock factor for sure. There,
Historians beware.
historians beware of the dudes rockness of the movie. But going back to like a serious
Mhm.
note, I think that Paul Mescal did an excellent job. I think that Connie Nielsen coming back did an excellent job. Pedro Pascal did excellent. Joseph Quinn, the guy from Thelma, what's his name?
Hessinger,
Yes, also did a
Fred
fantastic job.
Hechinger.
Hechinger, he also did a fantastic job. And
See, to
he,
me, I think personally the two weakest performances, in my opinion, were his and Connie Nielsen's.
interesting. Okay.
It's a take, I know.
It is a take. It is a
Hmm.
take. There's a performance in here that if we were to get into like who's the weakest performance, I wouldn't say it was that character. I would say it was a character that Denzel Washington mostly deals with. But I think that Denzel Washington is great in the movie. He steals a lot of the scenes that he's in. He just has that charisma, man. He's Denzel. Like there's no beating it. There's no running from it. And I also thought that the film did a decent balance of CG spectacle versus practical set spectacle. At least if they didn't, it looked really good. Now, where I'll kind of give some criticisms on the CG
Hmm.
is I think the animation could have maybe used some more work, but the actual compositing was exceptional. And I know that I'm getting like in the nitty gritty of that,
Hmm.
but the compositing of the actors in relation to interacting with CGI elements was perfection. Like that, it was crazy well done
Yeah,
from there.
I would say because there were a lot of animals involved in combat in this movie, and I won't go into full because I don't know if it's in a trailer or something, but there's something involving a rhino. And personally, I thought that the rhino rig looked phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
I
big
thought
time.
that was excellent. And then, as we know, the much debated sharks in the Colosseum, I thought the sharks looked a little wonky.
Hey,
So
listen.
I think that it hit highs and lows, but again, at the end of the day, sharks in the Colosseum.
That's what I was about to say. It's like,
Yeah,
listen, did the sharks look kind of wonky? Sure, but they were fucking sharks in the Colosseum. I mean, what are we supposed to get mad about in that regard? Going
this
back to
is
the
fair.
dude's rock point, it needed the sharks in the Colosseum to hit the dude's rock assignment. But yeah, I also thought that the cinematography was quite good in the movie, and I
I
want to go
enjoyed the
back.
score. It was very upbeat, very funky,
Yes,
kind of like when they kicked in. I was like, "This is kind of like a dance number." I'm digging it.
yeah, the score was
Mhm.
great. I want to go back to the sound work because I feel like it's
Yeah.
going to get overlooked. I thought the sound work was exceptional. I think it was one of the best sounding movies of the year, especially because on a just a personal level, I love when sound effects, particularly hitting and action sound effects, are too loud. That is
Mhm.
my whole thing. I love when it's too loud. Man, it was too loud. And I mean that in a full positive way. Like
Mhm.
when someone punches somebody, I want it to be louder than when a cannon goes off. And it was. And that's exactly what I was hoping for. So
Mhm.
I have to praise the sound work in the movie as well. In terms of criticisms for you, what do you think was kind of lacking in the film or something that might have disappointed you?
It's a great question. I don't. I felt comparing because I had never seen the first Gladiator up until about 5 days ago when you gave me the
I lent him
4K
the
for it,
4K Blu-ray. Everyone, you're
so that I could
welcome.
watch it. And I think the strength of the first one is the sort of rising through the ranks, right? This soldier fallen from grace and this epic ultimate revenge story. And it all builds up until this moment, right, where he's fighting Joaquin Phoenix. And to me, I just didn't get that same sort of sense of. I think Paul Mescal does a great job of portraying the anger and the rage and everything through that, but the vendetta felt weaker to me compared to the original.
I
So I,
100% agree with
yeah,
you. I 100% agree with you, and I think that like you're not rooting against the character, you are rooting
mhm.
for the character, but the feeling that you have in wanting to see Maximus succeed is far more than I think this character. But what
Well,
I
like
think
scenes
helps
when okay,
I was gonna say what I think helps this character is that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, and
mhm.
that part was interesting, and you want to see the character definitely succeed in that regard as well. But go on.
Yeah, because at times it felt like he was just a bunch of right place, right time benefit.
Yes.
And just the performance, while the performance is great, but when he's rallying troops and everything, you just don't get that same factor that Russell Crowe had as Maximus.
No, I
Eh,
agree. And
yeah.
again, comparisons to Thief of Joy,
Mhm.
but you bring up a point that I think is correct. And something else that I kind of want to touch on, and I'm not going to dive into it here, just in case you haven't watched much of the marketing or you're not
Mhm.
aware. There's something that they give away to us in the trailer that in the movie was so designed for us to not know that. And I wish I didn't know that. I wish I didn't know a very key thing that's revealed in like the first to second act break where I was like, man, if I didn't know that and I was in this theater, that would have hit so hard if
You
that was
don't
a
think you would
surprise.
have just naturally come to that conclusion?
Sure, but if
Like,
the
even with
marketing,
they didn't reveal it in the marketing, you'd just been like, "Oh, this is what it is."
sure, but it's kind of like that factor of like the R. Toby and Andrew in No Way Home.
Hmm.
It's like had they been in a trailer, it would have been less effective, even though everyone knew. Like everyone
Mhm.
knew. Like even if you knew going in what the reveal was,
Mhm.
I feel like them just kind of just telling us kind of took a part of that oomph away
Yeah.
because we were just waiting for it to happen. And
And I
be,
think that that is why I didn't care for one particular performance as much in the movie.
okay, and that's fair. I see what you mean there. But
Mhm.
yeah, overall, I had an excellent time. I thought this was a really great film. I thought it was super fun. I thought the action was great. I thought the story was compelling. Is it as good as the first film? No, but it didn't need to be. It did not need to be at all. And am definitely going to revisit the movie. Oh, by the way, the runtime is long. Didn't feel it. Paced
Yeah, it kinda
excellently.
ended, and I was like, "Oh, we're done?
Yeah,
I want more."
yeah, paced excellently.
Also, just can I just point out, if you haven't seen the movie yet, or if you have, A plus robe acting from Denzel. He's wearing Roman robes and drapes, and man, he is working them in every scene. He knew he had him on. He was strutting it, and it was impeccable to watch. And it was a tiny thing, but it worked so effectively for me.
100%. 100%.
Here's my question for you, because I think Denzel's in this movie quite a lot. Do you think that they're gonna run him as supporting?
Yeah,
And
they'll 100% run him as supporting.
that's a guaranteed nomination, right? I don't know if
Highly
Mescal will have
likely.
enough juice to get lead though.
Maybe not just because the lead actor category is a bit competitive this year,
Mhm.
but I think Denzel, as of now, is definitely has a big chance of getting in and supporting.
I think him and Kieran Culkin for Real Pain would be a tight race.
Yeah, that'd be good. Although Kieran's got
But I
some
mean,
competition too. There's a lot of competition to go through.
he does, but I think it's like just one of those things. Like it's Denzel. He's one of the best actors working. Like
Yeah.
just give it to him. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. He's one of the goats. He's one of the goats. But anyway, guys, we like Gladiator 2, but what did you think? I'd love to see your thoughts and comments down below once you've had a chance to see the movie. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.